I strongly feel like you should just delete your social media because it just isn't worth it to keep it on your mobile device. And I just feel that way because like the amount of disadvantages you would have is just way too much compared to the advantages. And really, if I actually talk about it, advantages are really non-existent. I just, this was the first video that I actually tried to script, so I just like wrote one point about advantages because I just wanted to try it out. But so okay, let's start with the advantage. I feel like there's only majorly, if you talk about it, there should be only one advantage, that is about like staying connected with people and having friends, having like a social circle, you can like call it like something like that. Okay. That is like one advantage that you can have with social media. So about that, it's like just, first of all, the people that you actually have on your social media, like they're just friends because you just crave the attention, because you just talk to them, you like each other's posts and like watch each other's stories and whatever, something like that. But point is, like if you talk about long term, 5-10 years down the line, like will you actually know each other? Like that's the question. Like if you won't, then they're not just like long term friends, they're just friends, because you just want to have some people in your life, you just want to have the attention, right? And it's like it's not even worth it. Like what do you actually do with like that kind of a social life? Maybe you just like get invited into some random party that you don't even feel like going to, because you do not even relate to more than half of the people there. And like if you keep like chatting with people on social media, right, and you just have like some kind of a time pass from it, you just like share about your personal stories, it's just not required. Like I used to do that earlier. I used to chat with my friends on social media. I used to chat with some people earlier on social media, but I just feel like it's just not worth it. Like the chats you have are just worthless. You're just wasting your time. And the thing is, like people who really have big goals and they actually work after them, those people really won't actually have the time to spend on social media, right? So anyways, maybe social media just doesn't give you a good friend circle anyways in the end. So that's about like the social circle, whatever. One advantage that you can say about social media, that people just say that okay, that's an advantage, you can stay connected with your friends. Yeah, like in the end, you just like people who you really care about, like the people who are your true friends, like your best ones, like you just have them in your contacts, you know them in person. So like social media is not really something to stay connected with. The disadvantages, well, actually there are only like, I've only thought about 2-3 disadvantages, but like those are like massive ones, so like they completely overwhelm the advantage. So the first one is like about the comparison part of it, right? If you use social media, you're just going to have comparison, like there's no end to it. And if you just scope about no, I have a lot of willpower and mental strength, I don't compare myself to other people, it's not that like, if I actually use social media, I would actually also compare myself to people. It will happen. Your brain will just do it by itself, it's just by default mode. Okay, so if you can like look at posts and stories from people, you know majorly I just want to like talk about Instagram, because I really wasn't into like a lot of social media apps. But like, so if you talk about Instagram, right, you just like compare yourself to fitness influencers that have one of the best physiques in the world, but then like they took a lot more time than you. They took like 5 to 10 years to get to that. Now you're just like 1 year into your fitness journey, and now you like want to compare yourself to them. That's just unrealistic, and it's always going to be like that. Like social media is basically just unrealistic expectations all the time. Like you see this fitness influencer, this person has this much like crazy amounts of strength, and that fitness influencer has like a crazy physique, right? It's endless. That comparison will not just end. You will want this thing, that thing. Like those are not even like your actual intrinsic desires that you actually want from life. You are just it just comes from you, from social media. Those desires are just born from social media, and you never actually like get to anything with that. Like it's like some form of competition is good. Like you might just have friends that are like gym bros, and you might just compete with each other about your next PRs, and that's a good thing. But if you just you keep comparing yourself with people on social media, that's just, it ends up just being toxic. You're comparing, but you're not actually trying to compete in a healthy way. Because if you try to actually compete in a healthy way, you would just focus on yourself, right? You would focus on your own diet, you would focus on your own sleep schedule, you would focus on your own training to actually improve your physique, not actually keep just wasting your time comparing yourself to other fitness influencers. And it's just like, I just talked about fitness because that's what I used to do when I used like actively use social media. But it can be a lot of different kinds of comparison. Like like if you're a female, then you would also compare yourself with other girls, and like how good they look, and like their hair, their face, and like it's just ridiculous. You don't need that. Like just improve yourself by, like, you can have some people to compete with in your life, your good friends. Like you can compete with them and get better with them, grow with them. But comparison is just not good. Like just a random comparison with some random online personality is just not worth it. The second And also about the comparison part, one more point is that it would always be like you would always see the best of everything. Like social media is just like people will just post obviously the best moments of their life on social media, and the you won't actually see the behind the scenes, the worst moments, the lowest parts. So it always feels like our life is bad and their life is good, but it's not actually that way. It's just social media is just you know people do that. Like if I also post something on social media, it will always be like the best moments, not like the worst moments, right? So you're comparing yourself, your worst moments to their best moments. So that's not actually reality itself. It's not that your life is completely bad. It's like it's in the ditch and their life is completely just all good. And then the second point is that obviously it will create like this addictive cycle that you cannot just get out of. Like the more you use it, the more you want to use it. It's just that it's like gets more addicting with time, and like the time you spend on it probably just keeps increasing by 1 minute every single day. Or like maybe 1 minute is an exaggeration, but even with seconds, like even if it increases 30 seconds in a day, it just like increases with time. The time you use social media, from the moment you wake up, you just like check your phone, first thing you like, or look at some Instagram stories and you swipe through them. You like literally finish like 150 Instagram stories all at once from all of your friends, and you didn't even want to watch it in the first place. Like you don't actually even care about what those people are doing. You just like watch the stories because it's like you just feel like productive doing that task. It's just a cope in your brain that I'm being productive by looking at people's Instagram stories, that I'm up to date. And like you'll literally do nothing with that information. Like if you really want, like maybe you can cope that, oh, I'm using social media to like getting up to date with like the latest news. If you really wanted to do that, you would just read the newspaper or like consume some news type of content, whatever. But uh, like social media is just not the place to like become up to date with the latest news. Because some of it will be like you consuming, sometime you will be consuming the news itself from social media, but most of it will be just wasted on like other stuff. So it's like it's going to be addictive, and like the it will be like most of your hours in the day would just be spent on that. And like that's like a massive drop down in your productivity levels. Like after all, like that is what everyone wants. Like you want to increase the productivity, but you then like you don't want to delete your social media. Then how do you think like that will actually work out for you? It will not. So it's like the consumption cycle, in the end it just destroys your fucking mental health. Like your mental health is just in the shreds. Like it's completely destroyed by it by the end of it. If you just keep consuming more and more social media with time, um, it's not gonna end up good. Like mental health just becomes trash with something like that, and you can literally feel it. You don't even want to do it at some points of time, but you're like so addicted by the dopamine itself that you just keep doing it even though you don't want to. So like that's about the disadvantages part of it. But if you're like one counterpoint that I thought about that you can like come that people can come up with, it's like maybe I used to do this earlier. So it's like relaxation, right? So we think like this, okay, that if we work hard the entire day, then at least at the end of the day for like just 30 minutes, right, from 9 p.m. to 9:30, before just going to bed at 10 p.m., we can like use social media. We can consume social media content because like we were productive the entire day, so we just like at the end of the day we just deserve it. Then because it will just be like some form of relaxation. That's like what people cope about. But if you actually think about that, if literally if you think like that is some form of relaxation, then if you actually do brain scans on your brain while using social media, do you actually think that your brain is actually in like a relaxed, calm, composed state? It's not. It's like your brain is just firing up. It's just way too active, and like the dopamine, serotonin, whatever, all of the other hormones, they are just shooting up. So it's not actually that. If you just use consume 30 minutes of social media, it's going to be like you are relaxed. Yeah, so you're getting your peace. You're not getting your mental peace. You don't want it. Like why would you even like have this kind of habit that 30 minutes of social media is okay? So yeah, in the end, obviously, you can say that even if you delete social media from your phone, then you can still well use it from the website. That's true, and I would say that that's also that something that I do. Okay, so thing is, when I had use social media back then, it was like a lot of screen time, right? When I deleted it, then it was like okay, I watched it from the website, but then it's like it got reduced to a very little amount. It got to 30 minutes a day, and now at this point I would say I check my social media like once in 3 to 4 days. So it's like I just have one Instagram account, and you know in the middle I also use like Snapchat, but then I deleted in just 1 month. So I just use maybe social media once in 3 to 4 days, and still like I feel like that's a cope. Maybe sometime I should just delete my Instagram account, but then I just feel like maybe I'll just later sometime I might just start posting on it on whatever, or maybe I just want to grow on Instagram too later. But I don't know. But still, it's like right now it's not a very in a very controlled state that like negligible amount of time is still wasted on that app. But maybe I just should delete that account so that I can be completely actually free from it and not have any amount of social media. So yeah, like you just might use it from the website, right? So that might just be a point that you might just waste time on it. Well, it will be very less. First of all, it will be very less, and with time it will just decrease because you won't even have like that much amount of motivation to like open the website and then log in into it and then check your social media. But see, in the end, then it will just become like a game of willpower. But at least like a lot of time will be saved if you delete your social media and use it from the website too. Like, and after a point of time, you just need to like use your willpower to like not even use the website. Use it through the website. Okay, so then it's like, what about people who are actually like millionaires? Okay, so I just feel like that's not something you can compare to. That's not comparable, because first of all, if you think about that, oh fine, millionaires also have like Instagram accounts, but then those people have a lot more experience than you, because if you are one of my viewers, then probably you are in like a young age group, so they have a lot more experience than us. They are a lot more mature. They have already done the hard work that they had to do throughout their lives, and they have enough good amount of like a build up of like willpower and mental strength that even if they have like social media on their mobile devices downloaded, they will just not get distracted by it. You just have to believe it, like they will not get distracted by it. And how do you know? Like, it might just even be like, most of those social media accounts of millionaires are just like um controlled by their personal assistants, and like maybe they don't even have social media on their phone. They maybe post once in a year actually by themselves. So like that's an uncomparable situation. You cannot compare to those people that they have it, so I can also have it, and I would have the same effect. It would not actually result in the same things, because you're literally like probably a teenager right now. So a teenager, like as a teenager, like most of your time is just destroyed by your mobile devices, and most of it is on social media. So like deleting it is a very good option right now. And the last point that I would like to cover is like, if it is like that you want to be some kind of a social media content creator, okay, you want to actually upload Instagram reels and get big on them, okay, well then that way I feel like you should still delete the social media app, because maybe you can just you produce content through the website. If you cannot do that, let's say there are limitations on doing that, you need to use the app, well then delete it, re-download it, and then delete it after uploading the content. I feel like that's the best move that you can do, right, as a content creator. Because the most important point is, if you really actually think about it, if you want to be a content creator, what do you actually need? You need to upload content, you need to create it, and most of your time should be used in focusing on how to create better content, right? So having social media on your phone, you're just wasting time consuming social media rather than creating content and focusing on how to create better content. So it's just destroying you, right? It's just not making you actually a content creator in the end. So in the end, it's just better to like, even if you want to be a social media content creator, you should just delete social media and like use it in like a way that is more about like creating content, not about consuming content. Like yeah, just try it like actually delete social media, try it for a month, and like you'll see the benefits, you'll see the results of it. And after you see those results, after you actually get to know about the benefits, you actually wouldn't want to come back to like having like social media on your phone all the time and just being addicted to it 24/7. And that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching.